Right. Time to get the chi throwing. Marju! Emmanuel Godsunu! Stabru! Did you have a good weekend, do? Right. Let's do this, Myro. Remind the people! Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Oh! I nearly killed the parrot! Painting goo goo goo. Painting goo! It's painting goo! What will we do? Painting goo! Painting goo! Painting goo! Painting goo! Painting goo! Where's my sip sip? Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Ah, we got the chi throwing. Painting goo goo goo. Painting goo goo goo. It's painting goo. Painting goo. It's painting goo. What will we do? It's 3 Chojochi. Painting goo. Sip rant goo. Oh, some good coffee. Ah, maxed out Meru. Welcome. Painting goo. 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 Painting goo. Aha! 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 Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo goo goo. Painting goo goo goo. It's painting goo. Painting goo. What will we do? Nobody know. What we do? On painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Bring it home, you marvelous monkey. The best petrified primate in the realm. Painting goo. Painting goo. Fucking painting goo. Ah, Myro the monkey. Carrying us gently and beautifully in this Monday. For some of you, it's a morning. For me, it is 4 minutes past 3. And my chi is only beginning to flow now. If you have any honor, you filthy mortals, unlike YouTube, which likes to interrupt my intros, as I was saying, if you feeble, filthy, petulant mortals have any honor, you will pay the monkey. Smash the like button like it has insulted your ancestors. And place a tip in the monkey's bowl. Pay the monkey! Because I do not. Greetings, and welcome to another glorious episode of PEINTEINGU with me, your glorious host, Defenderu, demigod of PEINTEINGU. I remain here, it seems. Despite my many efforts, my constant grinding and PEINTEINGU, my merciful attitude towards you filthy mortals, I remain relegated to Earthrealm. Indeed, most weekends, when I am not PEINTEINGUing, when I am not partaking in the PEINTEINGU, I meditate upon ways to further my return to Chinese heaven. My banishment is still vexing me. I often ponder revenge. But this is a fault of mine. Methinks that there is a greater purpose of my banishment from Chinese heaven. I am beginning to believe that there is a reason, a moral to this story, a purpose for my foreign state. I once thought, and still do, that it was but to remind you filthy mortals of the meaning of honor, beauty, and of course paying for PEINTEINGU. But now, after some reflection, methinks it could be possible that I have been sent here to Earthrealm to learn about what it is to be at least half human. In the beginning, my first sweep was weird as fuck. Dreaming is not something gods do. Now, being a demigod, dreaming is like some sort of odd deja vu that I can only sometimes interact with. Seems farcical to me. Although aspects of it remind me of our existence in heaven. Chinese heaven. Japanese heaven, totally different thing. Don't get me started on Valhalla. Great parties, but overall mood and vibe is, after a time, depressing. Paganism is only fun for a while, before it becomes very messy. My first shit. Terrifying. Never experienced anything like that before. Gods do not shit, obviously, in case... I mean, I would not be surprised if I have to explain literally everything. My descension into this realm has been difficult. These past few years, observing mortals from this perspective, having to put up with some of the limits that have been, rightly so, put on you filthy mortals. Shitting is definitely one of those things that will take me many years to get used to. You have no idea the trauma something like that causes to the mind of a former deity. It is profoundly disturbing. The people in the chat, firing in, listening to my sultry, half Japanese tones, and my sip. Today, we return to Tokelauan, this island off the coast of Australia. I say off the coast. East of Australia. Very New Zealandy, very, Polynesian. Samoan. Samoan, that's the one. Very brown. Looks like racetrack in the middle of the sea. Interesting place. We have discovered where we are going, but we have yet to fully realize what we are going. So today, we stay on objective. I shall attempt to keep my rantings at a minimum. But you have no idea the internal struggle my mind is constantly engaged in. You have no idea what it is like to be a demigod amongst 30 mortars. So I have much to say, but I shall say it with the goo. We have, today, a yacht, a wrench, and some niggers to paint. The hat produced only one nigger. One wrench, one yacht, one nigger. But methinks it would be a waste to paint a whole yacht for only one nigger. This nigger yacht shall have many niggers, donned in bringage far too large for their admittedly thick necks. The wrench, methinks we should think. Methinks we should think. Methinks we should stick with the original idea. It would be hilarious if I could pull it off. A few Samoans praying to a golden wrench, as if it is some form of deity or magic object. An idol, you could say. And a yacht full of niggers that have come to steer it. If only the hat had provided me with a bike instead of a wrench. First Gepu of the day. Right. Are you Mayor Japanites? Today, you have fared. A female was the first one in the chat. Margie was the first one in the chat. Damn you, Margie. Second you. Emmanuel, second in the chat. Sabaru! Doing Garros' job again. Garros. One of these days. One of these days, Garros. I'm gonna tear that ass up. He's made of paper and cardboard. I'm not into bestiality. Although, if you were gonna fuck something, why not a tiger? I'm glad you are all like the art. Thanks for the commentary. Indeed! Everybody check out Emmanuel Godsunu's paintingus. They are glorious. Emmanuel does excellent oil paintings. Irreverent paintings of politicians with tiny penises. It is hilarious. When family was together, hubby looked at one of my grandsons and said, "Oh my god, he looks like your painting guy." In a good way or a bad way? What, with the hair? Was it the hair and the beard? Or was you just donned in a kimono and bandana? That's hilarious. I think I sent you a picture. Oh, on Instagram? I didn't see this shit. You're kidding. Oh my god, he looks like your painting guy. I'm your painting guy, Margie. That's hilarious. Oh god, it's hilarious. Oh my god, he looks like your painting guy. No fucking way! He actually does! Oh my god! He's not far off at all! Oh my god, I have to share that in the Telegram. Oh fuck. Oh, the female will find this quite funny. I can't fuck. Oh, I can't. Oh, this is brilliant. He like the hat, the beard, the plaid. Earned, by the way, you know, those who know. For those who know, you must earn plaid. That is fucking brilliant. Oh my god. I'm trying to I have to save it before I can share it in Telegram. I do despise technology sometimes. It does not work the way I want it to. Things should just work, you know? Things should be intelligently. Jesus, try to say that in a Japu accent. Intelligently designu. Right, I dropped it in the Telegram there. For the real OG, for the real Japanoites in the Telegram chat. Don't worry, Emmanuel and Margie. I do consider you raw, very raw. I would hold it up, Margie, but it'd probably be fucking all blurry and shit. Hold on, let's see if I can get it. Like, can you see it? I'm terrible at this stuff because the camera's like so shit, like, you know. There we go, trying to angle it. Oh, we're getting like a endless hall of mirrors effect. I can see myself in the phone in more ways than one. He legit like looks very fucking like, at a quick glance you could easily mistake this. My mustache is far superior. My mustache and beard. This dude's, I'm gonna be wrong, he's got that Amish kind of like fullness in the bottom section of the beard, but it kind of looks like a chin strap. Like, you know, my beard is far superior. Not many people can outbeard me. At least in frontal appearance. Upon closer inspection, my beard is very Asian. It's actually hilarious how kind of like Asian I am. The way this all unfolded is fucking actually like just stupidly funny. You should do a painting stream. Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, fucking. 2 years later, konnichiwa. Like, hello. Oh god, the amount of people that are gonna call me horribly racist when this blows up. Like, check out this ginger prick. Fucking culturally appropriating Japan. Like, fucking, the Japan needs it. They let all the blacks in. Fuck's sake. Japan's fucked. Was your dad in central USA in the past 30 years? No, I was. I've been sowing my oats since I was a boy. I mean, technically, I've only been here 3 years. You know, 2 years. Fucking and yes, it did hurt getting kicked out of Chinese heaven. You know. Yes, I'm a demigod, but now I'm half human, so, like, you wouldn't believe how much of a sore ass and back I had when I fucking landed, like. You don't get kicked out of Chinese heaven and, like, you know, land on a bed of roses. Or a fucking trampoline or some shit, like. It was like an episode of Dragon Ball when I landed. Cleanup was utterly fantastic. A few goats, you know, were collateral damage. I think the crater's still there. You can just still see my ass imprinted in a mountain. Right. Your grandson has a much honor. Yes, he better. I hope he earned that plaid he's wearing. Yes, pineapple chuckers. Polynesian pineapple chuckers. Oh my god, I have a like that's a new idea for a new like gang. I think we're just gonna keep making up gangs for a while. We got the Bird Bureau, we got the Grid Pigs, we got the Tactical Turtles. I've been working on a few in the background that I don't want to mention. because like I'm still like sketching shit out and all. Like I'm trying to sketch as often as possible. I got a new sketchbook there recently. Like I've just finished like it. It's not like I've only finished one sketchbook, but like when I started buying sketchbooks last year with the purpose of actually filling them with stuff and practicing and trying different things, the first one of those sketchbooks is now finished. I've filled a ton of fucking sketchbooks over the years since I was a kid. Like looking back on some of my old drawings that's a trip. If you've ever done something like that, like, you know, it doesn't have to be like old drawings. It could be like, you know, just like, I don't know, like a fucking medal you won from kickboxing years ago or something, like, you know what I mean? Something you did years ago that you're still kind of doing now, or you're doing more seriously now, or some shit, like, you know, that's sentimental stuff. The nostalgic noticing of growth is an odd sensation sometimes. Oh, my shoulders are quite stiff. Is it wrench? Is it wrench a tour or woman? It's wrench, not wench. Oh, Margie. Did you say wrench or wench? Wrench. Like it's like knife, you know. It's like, why is wrench spelt with a W? Like, just that's how I love that Cat Williams bit. It was like, that is not knife, sir. That is knife. Purr it off, phrasing. Oh, how dare you. Polynesian cargo cult wrench worshippers. Jesus, that's a mouthful. Polynesian cargo cult wrench worshippers. Now, I was thinking to do, like, you could fuse that, where, like, we could have a group of, like, cannibal Maori Polynesian type lads with the tribal, like, with the fucking, you know, the Maori tribal tattoos and like the geometrical pattern shit, like all in black ink, and fucking you could have them with, like, you know, those cool those shark teeth bone swords and the fucking all that shit, like, but like they like specialize in throwing pineapples. Like, you know, like, I was like, man, a pineapple will fuck you up if it hits you. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if somebody, like someone with a decent arm, just like mill the pineapple at you from a distance, like, probably wouldn't kill you. It'd fuck you up though. Like, do you know? And if they could, like, could you imagine if they could, like, get so good at it? Like, what if they do something to the pineapples before they dip a pineapple in some sort of resin, some naturally occurring, like, pine tree gum or fucking, like, glue or, like, some shit that they can dip the pineapple in and then let it set so that the spikes on the pineapple are, like, you know, even more rigid and stuff. And turn a pineapple into this, like, deadly throwing tool. You don't know what you don't know tribal combat until you've seen someone murdered with a pineapple. They talk about war stories and say, "Oh yeah, I seen a guy get killed with a pineapple." That's some fucked up shit. Oh god! Before I sat down to do the stream, I was watching these there's like fucking 6 of them on this guy called Valhalla. Is it Valhalla Firearms or something? I can't remember the name of the fucking. Seems cool though. Apparently, like, all the fucking shit that Tim Kennedy has, like if you don't know who Tim Kennedy is this, like, fairly famous former UFC, former Green Beret. If you don't know what a Green Beret is, it's like a fucking, you know, special ops military unit. They're like, Green Berets are, like, you know, they're one of those military groups that are supposed to be, like, you know, highly trained, like the type of dudes that, like, sneak in behind enemy lines and, like, stab people in their sleep, allegedly, you know, wet work stuff like that, where, like, you know, you got your grunts and your main military, all the boom boom fucking artillery, like, upfront shit, and then you got the lads in ghillie suits that, like, sneak in and, like, swim into a location in fucking, you know, like James Bond shit, you know, like planting explosives on things and all, like, and I've seen him around, like, because I was into the UFC. I used to watch Joe Rogan on the regular and all, like, and then, like, Steven Crowder as well, like, you know, and I've seen Tim around, and like you would assume that he's legit because he seems legit because he's like fucking tapped and like really like charismatic and like can hold himself in front of the camera and among people and shit like that. And then he has all these like, you know, accolades like UFC. Like you could see him fight in the UFC. He was decent, you know. And apparently, like all the shit he said about his military stuff in his book he wrote is like total bollocks. And these like former and still current Green Beret dudes are after getting on a fucking podcast on this Valhalla guy's YouTube channel. And I'm watching the stream now. Like I'm about 20 minutes into it. I'm gonna finish it after I do this. Fucking it's like 2.5 hours long, and they're going through like all the stories that are like complete bullshit. That Tim Kennedy was like, you know, we did this, I got hit by an IED, I got this, and I got this medal every time, and all these like tweets he put out that are like absolute total lies. Fascinating. I always think it's fucking so like the stuff with P Diddy and all. Like I was watching what you call it, fucking It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. That's one of those things I just stick on in the background when I'm like, you know, trying to chill out or whatever. And I totally forgot that P Diddy is in an episode of It's Always Sunny. He plays that guy like Doctor Jinx. I think it's Dr. Jinx or something like that. Like, and he's supposed to be like some mad, like, you know, herbalist or some shit. Like, and the scene he's in is funny, you know. Wasn't he in 21 Jump Street as well or some shit? Like with Channing Tatum and fucking Jonah Hill. You can't outrun me. I'm black. Was that P Diddy? I think it was. I can't remember. Or was that in Get Him to the Greek? I can't remember what that was in. I might be talking about the wrong movie. But like I remember seeing him in shit, and I was like, that nigga's funny. Or at least the scene is funny, and it was like written by, you know, it was written to be funny, and he like performed it fairly well, like, you know. And then all this shit comes out, and you're just like surprised but not surprised to see how bad it is. Like, it's like this, like the last few years, shit is just like it's like these like lies that have been going on for decades, and lies that have been going on for like maybe just a few years or a few months are just getting like upturned, and like everything's been fucking found out. And like, but it's also weird that like the mainstream tends to stay away from it. Like it's always some YouTuber who's just like, did you know that this happened? Like, you know, like, and you're like, what? And it's like, yeah, I got all the receipts right here. Like, you know, you're just like, this is crazy. We live in such interesting times where like, especially for somebody like me, like the age I am, like I was born in 1991, and I've grown up the last 30 years, turned 33 there like the other week. And in the past like 7 years, I have learned like so much and grown a lot as a person. My personality is like, you know, grown, not changed, but just like, you know, adapted to a lot of self-reflection and looking at all this stuff in the public and all this crap happening with all this woke shit and like the, you know, esoteric stuff, and being a part of the bear community, and like then COVID, you know, like all that shit. Like it's just fascinating watching all of this stuff shift so drastically in such a short period of time in so many ways. And to see a load of people like I was just watching Jorge Masvidal and Jake Shields, and it's kind of comforting to see people like that. Like Jorge Masvidal's like, you know, the backyard brawler, and now he's gotten him big money out of like some good fights in the last few years, and now he's got his own fighting thing, game bred, bare knuckle and shit. So there's a few of them in the UFC mainly that like got their payday and started branching out and doing shit. Not just Conor. You know, Conor was like one of the first major one to do big money and all that shit, and then he gets his like proper 12 whiskey and all that shit. And all that's after falling apart for him the last few days because that fucking rape allegation stuff. Like, so it's just really interesting to see these characters that you would have grown up with as somebody like me, you know, through your teenage years and then like early 20s or something. All these like huge figures that you're watching, like especially somebody like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, grew up watching his movies, and then like go from like thinking that this dude is an absolute chad to seeing him being like, screw your freedom, you know, and like totally backing, like, didn't he back like Kamala Harris or some shit? Like,
seeing guys like Ben Stiller like being like a total cuck, you know, women are so important and we need to back women, and it's like, and then you see like even somebody like Chris Rock, you can see it in their faces, you can see it in their physical being, that they're like they've aged badly and their hair is graying, and like, you know, they've got like, you can see the stress, fear, anxiety, and like, and desperation in their faces. It's fascinating to me. It's like when you see all those pictures of P Diddy and your one, what was this bitch's name? I can't remember what the bitch's name was. The recent girlfriend, the one who turned on him basically and did all this shit, brought it all out. Can't remember her name. But you can some of the photos are amazing, because like you can see it in her eyes that she is like terrified, and you can see it in his eyes that he's like got some kind of demon in him. And I've seen something very similar on like just a random YouTube. Every so often I watch this guy called like Fillion. He like takes the piss out of this, like, you know, alpha male bro. What do they call it? The manosphere, with all these like fucking trad chads and fucking like gobshites, you know. This whole like, because like the ones that basically were like, well, fuck all this woke shit, so they went like extreme the other end towards like Deus Vult, a woman is to serve a man, fucking all this, you know, Catholic Christian shite. Like, oh my god, Nick Fuentes and fucking Destiny. Did you hear about that? Fuck, that's another one. Jesus Christ. Allegedly a fucking video has come out of the two of them like doing stuff. Like, oh god, man, I don't even want to think. Oh Jesus. It's so funny though, because it's so obvious. Like anytime I heard Owen talk about Nick Fuentes and be like, yeah, he's kind of funny and all that, I never found that young fella funny. Like I can see where Owen is coming from, because like Owen's come from like like he's a professional entertainer, so like he's looking at Nick and he's like, oh no, yeah, I mean, like he's got some stuff that like he's clearly good at like doing, like he's got a successful channel, so like, you know, kudos where kudos is due, like, you know. But like, fuck me, like the first time I saw Nick, like the first time I saw Nick Fuentes, the first thing that struck me was his eyebrows, and his like what do you call it, body language, his eyebrows and his body language. And the first thing that I like felt vibe wise was like, he looks like, looking at Nick Fuentes makes me itchy. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. Looking at him makes me itchy. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just like, like, is that just another way for saying he makes your skin crawl? That kind of thing. Like, because like I feel like the combination of how like just fucking he looks like oily, like, you know, and greasy, but like overly dry at the same time. I can't describe it. Like, I don't know. I like, I think like the last few years, I've kind of tuned in my whole vibe radar with like people, where like I used to. There's been so many people that I've known throughout my life that I'd get to know them and be like, get real close to them and all, and then over time I'm like, you're a fucking like absolute loser demon person, like, you know, like I can't be the only one who, like, you know, when you just start paying attention, you know, like, instead of just being like, oh yeah, like they're cool, like, do you know what I mean? You know, and like, because everybody's got issues, you make excuses. You're like, yeah, so what if it's, you know, this is that or whatever. Like no matter how bad a certain aspect of somebody's life is or their behavior is or whatever like that, you'll make excuses for it because you like them and you got off to a good start or whatever. Like, you know, first impressions and shit like that. Like, but that's it, isn't it? Is like people who are used to lying, people who are okay with lying, people who have insecurities and like want to present a persona, an image, a mask, a maya, to the people around them. And I know, like, on a level we all have like your public persona and then your private persona, out of the sake of like like that's considered being polite. That's how I would describe that. Is like you wouldn't you're typically more polite in public than you would be just like in your house where you're like, yeah, fuck the fucking niggers, Jews, kikes, fucking like government, fucking corrupt, fucking criminals, fucking like, you know, it's always the same. Like, you know, you have a quiet pint or a coffee with someone, like they'll like everybody has that aspect of like they'll have a quick look around to see if anybody's listening and then be like, I think they're all lying bastards. Like, like everybody has that. I've seen it over the years, like, and like we've seen a ton of that shit in the last few years where everybody, like Jake Shields was only saying that when he was talking to Jorge Masvidal on the stream there. It's like people out of fear of being left out of the group lie, even though they know it's a lie, and they know what they're saying is not true, but they go along with it because it's like, well, everybody else is going along with it, so you know, I don't want to fucking rock the boat. I don't want to like fight with people and all. It's like I've never understood that mentality. I've always been profoundly like uncomfortable and like awkward around like people that are trying to portray something that I know isn't true. It's like really fucked up, like, and maybe that's a weakness of mine, is like I find it incredibly difficult to be around deception, you know. I'm doing a lot of like deep diving lately into like, because I think it's been a while since I did it. I did it a lot a few years ago where I was like, am I the problem? And then I was like, okay, when it comes to these things, I'm definitely the problem. So I changed. And in the last few years, my life gotten better and shit. So I kind of got complacent where I was like, no, yeah, I think I've, you know, kind of like ticked all the boxes. I mean, I checked this and I checked that. And like I've gone deeper the last few months and been like, no, yeah, I'm still like a fucking degenerate piece of shit in so many ways. Be careful not to get complacent. When shit gets better and shit works, be careful not to get like complacent. That happens to me all the time. Something works and I'm like, cool, I won, and then I get like lazy. Not good. He keeps his beard trimmed, as he should, because he's a fag. I'm just taking the piss. I only groom, like when it comes to like my hair and my beard, the only reason I groom myself ever is because of the female. I would literally go, I have gone, like a few years ago my hair was down to my ass, so like I loved it, like it was like a lion's mane, and like my beard's been real long before, like and big bushy and all. Like I like even when I start eating my mustache, because it's getting so long, I like combing it into a big, like, you know. I'm telling you, I was born in the wrong fucking era in so many ways. Like I prefer looking like a slightly well kempt caveman. Like, you know what I mean? Just like hair, beard, like, you know, you can barely see my face. Keeps me warm. I'm a lean guy, like, do you know what I mean? I live in a cold island, like. Did your paint come? No, not yet. Nothing's arrived yet. Did you order already? Well, obviously, if you ask that question. I haven't received anything. And if it comes today, or if it was supposed to come today, then no, I haven't received anything, because they usually show up by 1 o'clock. I'll keep you posted. Don't worry. I'll let you know. Have any of you been able to use Telegram without providing your main cell phone number? Oh, oof. I have avoided TG for another chat because it wouldn't let me use my Google voice and required my actual cell. I don't know, like, I get why some people are, you know, oh, I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that and all. Like, you know, I've been like that for a while, but like, if it's handy, use it. If it works, use it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't worry too much about, like, you know, the Russians having your data or some shit, or like fucking, you know, unless you're doing something dodgy, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I get the argument of like, I should be able to do whatever the fuck I want in the privacy of my own home. It's like, yeah, but really though? I mean, like, you're like, I should be able to do fucking, you know, child sacrifice and blood rituals in my own home, and like, you know, it's like, It's my home. I can do what I want. Like, yeah, but it's like, what if your neighbors like discover that you're doing child sacrifice and don't agree with it? Like, you know, it's like, um, the whole argument of like how far should privacy go and like what you should be doing and shit. Like, you know, and then there's the other thing of like, you know, the fucking the military bootstraps showing up being like, you know, show us everything, you know, and it's like, show you everything? What the fuck? Like, am I not entitled to privacy? And then because you say that, they're like, what have you got to hide? And you're like, what the fuck? It's a tough one. But like when it comes to stuff like that, where it's like it wants your email or it wants your phone. Like, don't get me wrong, I know these days there's actually like an increasing likelihood that like some fucking Indian bot farm is gonna get a hold of your information and then like drain your bank account or some shit. But there's also like things you can do about that. Do you know what I mean? Like there's like laws and shit now where like if you've been scammed, if you've been this or whatever like that, like you can do stuff about it. Don't get me wrong. There's also the unfortunate scenario of like, yeah, well, you clicked on the link, you dumb fuck, so you need to be careful, you know. But it's like everything. I mean, like these times we're living in, I've said before, are more mentally challenging than physically challenging, you know. Like, you don't have to worry about fucking fighting off bears. You don't have to worry about fighting off people in most places. Like, do you know what I mean? You just have to worry about fighting off your internal demons and like other people's scams. And like, because everything has like, because when everything's a scam, nothing will be. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like so much shit is a scam now, where it's like you kind of, especially if you're in the bear community, like you know how to behave now. You know how to live within it, but not be of it. Because you just know what it is. And because you know what it is, you don't have any, like, you know, fear or, like, paranoia about, like, you know, oh, how is this going to fuck me or whatever, like, you know. I'm just talking about how I operate, obviously. Just don't have any, like, never have any fear, you know. Pardon my random GGQ, don't worry about it. Yeah, like, I, like, just never have any fear. I think, like, the only time you, like, fear should be a fleeting thing. You should only feel fear, like, for a moment. Where you're like, oh, I should pay attention to this. But other than that, like, you shouldn't have a sustained sense of, like, I'm afraid. You know? Because then because if you start making decisions out of fear, that's where you're fucked, like. But you do need fear. You have to have fear because it'll keep you alive. Because it'll be like, what the fuck is that? Like, just it's like an instinctual thing, like, you know. If you didn't have fear at all, you like run the risk of being hubristic or arrogant, like, do you know what I mean? So like you need to have it. But it's when you're operating out of fear that like you're fucked. It doesn't matter what you do. Like the nature of operating out of fear just like fucks you. So just don't be afraid. Don't ever be like, you know, oh, I don't want to fucking give them my phone number because what if this happens? It's like, just, you can get a new phone number. You can do this. You can do that. It's fine. If like shit happens, you know. I have 3 pineapple plants that'll be able to do some damage. Margie has just realised that she's got potential weaponry growing in dirt. Kennedy's a terrible shot too. For an elite sniper, supposedly. Watch him on some channel against a CrossFit guy. Got smoked. Yeah, I seen that. Yeah, the fucking CrossFit guy won. I was like, that's embarrassing. He even says it all. It's like, I can't believe I got outdone by a CrossFit guy. But it's like, yeah, that's like super embarrassing. You know? Like, that's like the whole reason that you're like a fucking, like, you're literally trained to do that shit, like, and a dude who does CrossFit beat you, like, that's a bit crazy. Like don't get me wrong, there's outliers, you know. Dude could just happen to be like a really fucking good shot, like, do you know what I mean? But yeah, Green Beret, like, you'd think he'd be a fucking ninja with a gun, but obviously not, like. It was a mixed challenge, athletics and military challenges. Yeah, like he fucked him up in the wrestling. Kennedy messed him up in the wrestling, from what I remember. That's what I thought was so funny about that podcast. Like all them Green Berets talking about like how much of a lying charlatan Kennedy is, because it's like, And one of them said it. It was like, why though? I mean, like his resume, like the stuff he has actually done that that he can't, like, that he hasn't lied about, the stuff that he has done, like being in the UFC and all, like, and some stuff he did do in the military service. It's like, that's awesome. Why would you then like lie about all this other shit? Like, that's just ridiculously retarded. Like, but it is. It's just it's weird. It's super weird seeing people, like, you know, the way there's, like, for me, right, there's the people that you can see, like, right off the bat, you're like, that's a demon, something up with that person. But then there's the people who look like and behave like good people, solid people, honorable people, genuine, honest people. And then time passes, and then an event comes, and then you see totally different behavior out of them, or just a flash of something, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh fuck, you're actually not like what you make yourself out to be. That's crazy. This is all like a facade. And then you start pulling the threads and being like, oh, so that's why he does this and that's why he says that. And like, it's actually crazy when you start deconstructing somebody's mask and you're like, what the fuck? Like, I think that's why somebody like me is so jarring to some people. Because like I've come across so many people in my life that like love the shit out of me, and I reciprocate. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, I love you too, bro. Like, do you know what I mean? And like we laugh and we like do shit together and all, like, and whether it be video games or fucking going to airsoft or some shit. I don't know. Like, you know, it's like, that's all I was only thinking about that recently. That like all I ever really want to do in terms of like my general vibe is like, I just like taking the piss, having a laugh, like fun with people. Like, I like enjoying stuff with people, and like getting to know new people and hearing stories. You know, people, like listening to people's stories, their origin story is like really interesting to me. Like, you know, it's like, that's what we all do. That's what we all consume, whether it's Netflix or podcasts or video games or movies or whatever it is. It's just stories. It's just narratives. So like, I think that's what, like, that's why all of this is so powerful, is because a true story is like enthralling and fascinating, and like it can be inspiring and all these things where like you hear, like, you, especially if it's in person and somebody's telling you something and like you can feel that it's real, and like you can see it in their eyes, like they start, like, if it's something traumatizing or even it's something incredibly joyous, they start like, you know, tearing up because they're like reliving the moment, and you can feel it and all, like. And that's what's so fucked up about liars, is because some liars are so good that they will, it's like a magic trick. It's like magic, like, you know what I mean? You'll be like, oh my god, wow, and then later you're like, oh, that was just I was deceived, and you just get this overwhelming sense of like, it's like you've been attacked, you know. Like, it's like somebody stuck a blade in your back, and like when you went to turn, they were gone, and you're like, you know, like, you know, you get mugged, or like cat burgled, and you've been had by the black cat, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, it's such a horrible feeling of, it's like a combination of there's nothing you can do about it because it's like, it's happened, you know, you can't like undo that, you can't rectify it. And then there's the feeling of being an idiot because you're like, I was tricked, like I was complicit in that. It's not just something that has been done to me. I believed it. But that's that weird, like, that's one of the main things that I really struggle with, is like the they in quotations, is like, if they have constructed society over a period of generations in such a way that most people are brainwashed sheep, then can you really make the argument that this is a fair game because people still have free will? Because, like, if they don't know, and, do you know what I mean? Like, how can you make a choice if you're unaware that there's a choice there? So, like, that I really struggle with that. And it's stuff like this where I'm not, like, some people are like, oh, you're, like, really intelligent, you're smart, like, you want to, and you, like, can articulate yourself very well and have all these interesting thoughts. And I'm like, but I'm, like, stuck. I mean, like, so, like, I'm obviously not that intelligent if I, like, get to certain things like this, and I'm like, I don't know the answer to that. I can't work that out logically. It seems like a revolving door to me. It seems like a circle to me where I'm like, it's like a chicken and the egg thing. Like, yes, they can still choose, but like at the same time, can they really if they're completely fucking unaware, and they're unaware because they grew up in a paradigm that is completely and utterly constructed by fucking illusions and shit, like. And it's all the same. Like, you'll be watching fucking Jorge and Masvidal and Jake Shields talking about how, like, the same kind of shit with that Colby Covington guy, and how it's all just like fake and lies and all. Like, and it to hear guys who are like, you know, fighters, really tough, like arguably a bit tapped in the head. Do you know what I mean? Like, because you would want to be like, you know, to like do that stuff. That's what most people think. It's like, oh Jesus, like, you know, it's either a toss up between, oh my God, you're so courageous and brave, like, you know, to get in a cage with another man and test yourself like that with the potential for like great injury or whatever. And then the other side of it is like, you're fucking nuts. Who would want to do that? It's like even people in that environment, like soldiers, Green Berets, Tim Kennedy, like, you know, fucking murder, death, like fucking government sanctioned murder and death, like of like women and children and like all this like horrific shit, PTSD up the fucking wazoo. And there's people lying about that stuff. There's people like full on just making up like total fucking bullshit narratives about some of the most intensely traumatic, serious fucking things that could possibly happen to a human being. And you're like, oh yeah, I did that. I was there. Wasn't, you know, like, I don't have PTSD or whatever, because, like, I don't know, maybe I'm just crazy or some shit. Like, it's just, like, it's so wild to me how, it's so wild to me how someone can live with themselves doing that. Like, I'm still like, it's for anyone watching my stream the last while, they're probably like, you know, this guy's really struggling with some shit internally. Like, I am and I amn't. Like, I'm not like depressed or like in despair or anything, but it's like a Rubik's Cube I can't quite get, where I'm like, I've like watched all this stuff, I've listened to all these things, I've read all these things, looked at all these things, you know, fucking pondered all these things, and then experienced some of it myself in real life, and then like I'm at this point now where I'm like, I kind of understand what my purpose is in life, you know, to create, to make people laugh, to like share my ideas and opinions or something. Like, people really seem to like my vibe and all, like, so like I consider it an honor and a privilege to be able to like do this and people value it. It's like awesome. But that's not what I'm struggling with. What I'm struggling with is like my personal relationship with what I think is evil. You know, like, I'm trying to that is kind of what it is, I think, is like, I'm trying to find my moral framework because I don't have one, you know. I remember Jim Bob saying something very like very true about that, where like, you know, because people who don't cling to like people like me who don't adhere to a religious belief, it's one of the, it's like a fact of like physical reality. It's like a law of physics that because I don't have adherence to a particular belief system, there's a vacuum or a discordance, a chaos to my moral framework, which I totally admit to, because like I know I'm ignorant, but I'm also self-aware and I'm not a liar. So I'm like, when people ask me shit, I'm like, I have the capacity to be like, I don't know. You know, what do you think? Like, and I don't think that's bad. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't mean to sound, I know this probably does sound arrogant, but like, I don't mean it in an arrogant sense. Like, I do genuinely think it'd be better if more people were like me. Whereas like, I have no idea. Only God knows. And I don't even know what God is, really. You know, we just talk, like, everybody has their own perception, their own subject interpretation, their own ideas, their own opinion. Do you know what I mean? It's like, the amount of stuff that we can actually claim to like know for definite is like fuck all compared to the amount of shit that we do just because we believe. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, money. Do you know what I mean? Like money itself, you know, like money makes the world go around. No, it fucking doesn't. Like your mindset makes it. Like that's what's so powerful about all this, with all the fucking the Jews and those fucking, you know, those ancient mysticism books on how to, like, you know, this is how you control the mind and all this fucking shit, and then it eventually evolves into something like MK Ultra, like with all the fucking government shit. Like it's all like, when you realize that a human being is different from other animals simply by the fact that we can choose something, like at all, to pick up a stick or not, like in the sense that like a tiger just does like they're all pre-programmed by something instinctually. They have a directive. Every animal has a directive, but humans don't. Humans can choose a directive. So like right there, we're like fucked, because it's like you have freaks that will, like, you know, dress up as a squirrel and hump an onion all day, like, you know, like, and call it art, like, versus like someone who gets into construction and, you know, gets into real estate and then builds a lot of orphanages. Do you know what I mean? Like those are the people who you never hear about, who are never like shown on mainstream media shit, like who are like legendary people. But the people you hear all about are like somebody like Cardi B. Like, you know, it's like so many examples of the almost unavoidable truth on a daily basis that you, like, if you're paying attention at all, you are surrounded by lies on like multiple levels. The buildings we use, for fuck's sake, if you look into the whole like Saturnian cube shit and all this stuff, like the angles of sorrow, like 90 degrees doesn't exist, and 90 degrees and straight lines don't exist in nature for the most part. I know there's some examples that you could argue, like, you know, crystalline structures and fucking, you know, a beehive with like hexagons and shit. You could argue that, like, no, there are straight lines and perfect circles in nature, but it's just like, you know, still kind of true that there isn't, like, because of the whole pi stuff and the fractal nature of things to curve in like this golden ratio kind of sense. But it's like so evident that you're constantly surrounded by lies, and then it like, to even suggest that it takes some kind of like otherworldly courage, you know, for someone like me, you know, during COVID or some shit, I'm not wearing a mask, I'm not taking a vaccine, fuck you people, like, you know, like, and everyone's like, ooh, like, really? Like, what the fuck? How, like, have we all fallen so low on the ladder of, like, you know, spiritual integrity or intellect or some shit, that it's like a situation like that, most people just immediately were like, put it in me, I'll put it on, like, fucking, like, just don't take my money and my job, and like don't get me wrong, I get it, like, I don't have kids, I didn't have a mortgage, I didn't know all these things that I could, you know, potentially lose, but at the same time I did, you know, I mean, like, sure, I didn't have a lot of material shit and I'd have children, but at the same time I had like everybody in my life looking at me like I was some kind of nut job. Most people anyway. And even the people who didn't look at me like a nut job looked at me like, you know, I was making a kind of stupid, like, you know, those people who look at you and are like, look, I know, like, I completely agree, but just like play along, because like, why would you put up with the stress? It's like it's almost just as bad, like, you know, so you know it's bullshit, but you're going to play along because you don't want to put up with the stress of conflict. Like, that's fucking, ugh, like, it is incredibly comforting, like I said earlier, to see little nuggets the past few years show up in like YouTube and, you know, the mainstream, and then something like Rumble, like you got ads for like 1755 coffee with, like, it's hilarious, like Andrew Tate fucking sponsoring it and all, like, or not sponsoring it, like, you know, essentially shilling for it, but like, you know, it's coffee that won't make your kids gay and it doesn't shove an agenda down your throat. Like, a couple of years ago, if an ad like that came out, like, it would have been all over the news that it's like incredibly bigoted and all this fucking shit, like, but it's just sitting there on Rumble, like, you know, it's kind of crazy to me how things like AI and the recent like swing of the pendulum back towards like seemingly some kind of rational semblance of existence. Why did it take so long? Like, why did things have to get that bad? Does it always have to be like that? Is that just the nature of things? Do things have to get really fucked up before people will even start talking about it? Because that's kind of crazy. Do you know what I mean? There's like these like just these gates that we set up ourselves psychologically as a society, like, do you know what I mean? Out of fear, and like it's crazy to me. Like, on the one hand, you could see a group of human beings do something amazing, you know, like what the bear community does, where like they all just like meet up in a fucking field and build a fucking stadium so that the comedian they like can perform, right? And then on the other hand, you have people like grifting off of war, and it's like on YouTube. You know, like you got like ads for like, you know, oh, it's so bad in Gaza. Oh, Yemen. It's like fucking. There's cameras there. You guys have a crew and all. Like, you know, fucking. So that just never correlated for me. It's just like, but you're there, and you clearly have access to materials and resources to be there. So like, what are you doing to help them? Like, do you know what I mean? And like, sure, I'm all up for like drawing attention to like a crisis for people to help, like a GoFundMe or some shit like that. Like, but it's like when you have like concern ads and stuff. It was like I was talking the other day. It's like fucking, there's 5 flies on that kid's face. I do not believe he's starving. Like, and I know people who'd be like, that's terrible. Like, you're crazy. Like, you know, obviously they need help. It's like, I've been lied to too much. Maybe it's that. Maybe I'm just traumatized, paranoid, and untrusting. You know, maybe it is just that, and I'm just like moving through it slowly but surely, like a tactical turtle. But like, I'm still like surprised to the level that people will like lie about shit, like, you know? And sometimes it takes like decades to come out, and it's like the unbelievable amount of fucking chaotic destruction that one person lying about an event can do, like, is fucking wild to me, like. But we also run the risk of going too far to the other direction. I could see a time where it's like, you know, lying about the color of a pen is a death sentence or something, like, do you know what I mean? Where it like goes completely the other direction, and it's like you tell a white lie about something at like a family event to like not hurt somebody's feelings or some shit, and the fucking government find out about it and publicly execute you. Like, deception is the end of truth. Like, it goes full on like Warhammer 40k Space Marine level fucking, you know, like, the truth is God, you will not deceive, deception is death. Like, I could see a world like that. When you have years and years and years of people just being sick to death of people lying about shit and getting millions of fucking dollars out of it and all, and living in these like opulent places with all these like amazing food, amazing cars, amazing house, like all this material shit, like, and it's just like, oh, it's all lies. Okay, like, there's a part of us, like, as a society, you can feel it, that is like chomping at the bit to have that French Revolution thing again, where it's like you want to see all the like rich people burn, the bad ones anyway. Like, it's like fucking hilarious to me. Ah, Ian Ganonu! Haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, I'm just a weirdo. So yeah, dude, we're all a bit weird, man. We are our special Ritter snowflakes. Oh god. Everything is recorded beyond this world's physical existence. Fear is the mind killer. Yeah, the whole Akashic record shit. Yeah, I'd believe that. I'd believe that. That like in the next world, or like, you know, if it's like permanent dream or some shit. I don't know how consciousness works, obviously. Like, but like, it would make total sense to me that like when you die and you go to the other side, that it's kind of like, right, no more playing around. So how did it go? Like, you know, fucking. That would be like that. Like that scares me. The idea. That's kind of a catch-22, isn't it? Like, am I being a coward then, in a sense? Like, I fear like, because I do kind of believe that, I have that feeling that would be true. I fear something greater than me that knows the truth for sure, 100%, looking at me and judging me and being like, you know, you don't deserve to be here. You're out. You're not good enough. You're bad. Whatever way they want to put it. Like, so I hold myself to a certain standard myself, and even then I'm like, I'm still kind of a piece of shit. Like, I don't even get out of bed. Like, fucking, like, what time did I get up today? Like 10:30. I didn't go to bed till 2 a.m. Like stuff like that. Like, you know, like too many chocolate bars. You know, I'll be like, oh fucking, like. And the reason I'm laughing is because I know that comparably, like, I'm a fucking saint to most people. Like, do you know what I mean? In so many ways. But that doesn't mean I haven't done fucked up shit, you know? But then it's like, by whose metric? Because, like, you could look at somebody like fucking Hitler, and I would argue that, like, there's every probability that dude ended up in heaven. Because if from his perspective he was genuinely, like, you know, doing the right thing, and then towards the end was like, you know, you've all failed me and all this fucking shit, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he went to heaven and, like, you know, God was like, put his hand on his shoulder, was like, Adolf, it's okay. You tried. It's not your fault. I wouldn't be surprised if he had a very similar conversation with Jesus. Like, dude finally gets crucified, and before he's sent back 3 days later or whatever, it's like 3 days of like, they fucking crucified me, Dad. Like, you watched them brutally murder me. What the fuck is this? It's like, look, relax. Like, obviously you're not really dead. Like, you're here talking to me. I know, but that was the most fucked up thing. Like, you just, like, wake up in the next world and realize, like, actually realize, you're like, oh shit, I'm dead and all this is real, and, like, it's basically like a fucking version of VR. Like, man, like, if you spent the whole time lying and cheating and grifting and all, like, you'd fucking shit yourself. Like, these people who are on a deathbed and they're like, fucking, like, I can't do this. It's like, yeah, well, you shouldn't have spent like 25 years lying to your wife. Like, you didn't say. So fucking stupid. And again, it's not like I'm like in a sense, obviously I'm better than some people, but then in some, like, there's always a bigger fish, you know? I don't think anybody could make the claim that, like even Jesus, you know? Like, I don't think he was, like, a fucking magical entity or whatever. If anything, he was just probably one of these dudes back then that was, like, taught the alchemical and geometrical truths of reality and shit like that, like, and how to use them to help better people's lives and all this crap. Like, you know, it's like all the Christians being like, he's coming back, he's gonna save us. It's like, that is the fucking most, like, milquetoast, like, I'm just gonna wait till Daddy comes home and fixes things. Like, you know what I mean? And then there's the other ones that it's like, you know, like, they're like, it doesn't matter what I do, I'm covered in Jesus' blood. Like, do you know what I mean? I could be a closet pedophile all I want. Like, I've been baptized. Fuck you. Like, you know. And that's just the Christians. Like, imagine the other ones. Like, you know, you got, like, the Muslims that are like that, and then, like, you got fucking, like, God only knows what Hindus believe at that level. Like, but anyway, cool. Give me your bank info. Before they were cell phones, I said we were being watched through TVs. Yeah, like, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, you know, that tech that, like, was shown in what you call it? Batman. That's what it was. You know, the fucking, where they turn everybody's phones into a sonar system. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a way of using, like if you can send a signal to everybody's television, then I wouldn't be surprised if there's, like, some way of using the televisions as, like, a node or a reference point to ping and send back to you. But then it would probably, like, I don't know, I'm not a fucking engineer, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm guessing there would be a limitation to how far the individual televisions could send a signal. But then you could argue that, like, if you're in a city, in a grid, or even a suburban area, how an electric grid works and how it's set up and all. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there's been a way to track everything within a city fairly well for decades. You know, let alone the whole, like, you know, oh, everybody has a phone now, and like everybody's phones is connected to the internet and all that shit. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they've been able to track most shit fairly accurately for decades. You know, like, I don't like all this stuff that comes out and it's like, oh, the government is doing this and the government's done that. Like, the way I think about this is like, if I was them and I didn't care, what would I do? And I have a fairly good imagination, and I have a pretty good sense of humor, but it's also a dark sense of humor. So like, if I put myself in the power position of like elite psychopath scientists and fucking, you know, social engineers and all this fucking shit, like, you would do shit like fucking you know, just like experiment on a what's the term, on a slightly remote population, like all those movies of like, you know, like a rural village in America somewhere, and a fucking zombie virus breaks out and the government come in and try to clean it up, like the movie like The Crazies or something, like, you know, and they end up, or like fucking Resident Evil, where they like nuke Raccoon City to, like, you know, destroy, to keep the virus in check and all this crap. Like, I always just assume the craziest shit. Like recently with the whole Trump thing and all, when I was like, they're gonna call themselves Trumpites and they're all gonna do something with their ears in solidarity with Trump, and then boom, 2 days later, and I was like, I can't believe I was right, because it's just, you just go for the most like outlandish, weird, crazy, ironic, fucking hilarious thing that could happen, and boom, there it goes, it fucking happens, and you're just like, what the fuck is even going on? Like, it's fascinating, but it's also kind of weird. It's karmic spirals up and down. Yeah. Really, like, yeah, in a lot of ways it really is. And then free will is the dictator, you know? You're going to go up or you're going to go down. You're going to go up in vibration or down in vibration. Up in frequency or down in frequency. And it's a choice. But the thing I'm dealing with is like, I like, Papa J Bear a while ago said it to me, and I think he got it dead on the money, where he was like, you have survivor's guilt. And I think I do. I think I feel guilty that I am in the position I'm in, with like a network of people who like me and trust me, and I like them and trust them, and I'm around people that like are willing to support me and want to support me and want to see me do well, and don't bullshit me. You know, that's the most important thing. They don't bullshit me. Like, I mean, sometimes they do. They're trying to be nice. You're crushing, bro. You're doing so well. It's like, I'll let you know when I think I'm crushing, and then you can tell me to stop being so arrogant. I had some of my biggest awakening at the age 36 to 40. It never ends, brother. Yeah, I know. Like, that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, you know, it's like this fucking, like, because people, like, you have these people out here, it's like, well, he's got a job and 2 kids, he must be based. No. You know, like, you fucking, there's loads of things, there's loads of these preconceptions and assumptions that people make. It's like, oh, that guy, like, even about me, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, people could look at me and be like, so he's engaged to, you know, a 30-year-old female that has a full-time job, and he's like kind of self-employed. Like, I just don't make a lot of money yet, you know, I've only been doing this a few years, but it's like people could look at me and be like, oh my god, like, what a fucking, like, on the one hand, Emma's a saint for like supporting me while I do this, but then on the other hand, I'm a fucking like parasite and a leech, or a fucking narcissistic psychopath who has convinced her to let me LARP as a fucking samurai in the internet as she slaves away in a government job, like, you know, which couldn't be further from the truth, like, do you know what I mean? Because, like, I try not to give her shit about it sometimes, where I'm like, I'm the one that has to get her up in the bed, get her up out of the bed in the morning. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, she's so like in her own way, is such a, you know, train wrecking a child and like traumatized and all, like, because she had like a mad early life and an upbringing, just like me, like in many ways, and it's just kind of like, I think it is like well, I believe that it is like destiny or like fate, God's will, whatever the fuck it is, that we're still together. Because there's been so many times where like I wanted to break up with her for various reasons, or like, you know, we just weren't jiving, or the living situation we had was just unbearable for her, or like for both of us for different reasons. Like, broke up, get back together, broke up, get back together, and like, and all this fucking shit. And it's been years now, like, and the amount of times I've had moments where I'm just like, I think the way, you know, it's supposed, like, you're like, okay, this seems like just like fate, is where you've run through the like rationale and the logic of it so many times, where you're like, no, I mean, like, if fucking like, there's no way, like, the probability of shit, like some of the stuff, like, it's crazy, you know, like some of the like sinks in the bear community, where you'd be like, there's no, like, how the fuck, like, what the hell, like, it's hard, like, it's almost impossible to articulate sometimes, or unless you can remember exactly how that particular day went. But like, I've had so many moments where there's just like, just this moment of clarity in just in a random moment of a random day, and you're kind of just like, this feels like it's playing out the way it's supposed to play out. It's like weird. Maybe I've just watched too many movies and fucking played too many video games and all that shit, and maybe I'm just like, maybe my brain has been molded to look at everything as a narrative and a story. Like, isn't that a theory, that like one of the main reasons our behaviors are thus is because, like, as one of our like natural things to do as humans is to invent a narrative about everything? But I don't know. I think there is some kind of meta plan to all this. Like, I think the point of this place is to learn. And then it's like, you learn what though? It's like, I don't know. I mean, like, I think we're all here to learn a very personal lesson. And if we're not willing to at least attempt to try and learn that, then I think your time here is going to be like really shit. Deal. I get your bank info, you get my search history. Seems like a fair trade. Hilarious. Dick Fordu, welcome. I personally know people who have like a fucking near-death experience. They say this life is not at all what we think it is. Nearly every send-receive system can be used in reverse. Speakers can be used as a microphone for yeah, see, that's what I've heard shit like that. So I was like, yeah, I'd say there's a way to do it. Like, do you ever feel like you are by yourself and everyone else isn't real? No, I've never felt like it's all a simulation, but I've felt like I've definitely had moments of what I could describe as like almost like a profound sense of loneliness. But not because I don't think other people are real. It's just because you end up, like, especially around COVID and all, like, you just kind of think it's like, you start thinking to yourself, like, am I crazy? Am I a weirdo? Am I an outlier in the negative sense? Because, like, nobody cares about being an outlier in a positive sense. I'm the best at running. I'm the best at this. I'm the most attractive. And like, you know, nobody gives a fuck. Like, most people want to be an outlier in a positive way. Nobody wants to be an outlier in a negative way. You know? It's like, and like the people who want to be like the people who like being the villain, the people who like being hated, you know, are profoundly fucked up, like, and you should pity them. I've never felt like I've never felt like this is like a simulation or fake, but I've definitely felt loads of times like it's not what we think it is. Like I've said this before, like every so often I like, you know, apart from meditating and stuff like that, like I get these moments where I kind of zone out and like look at stuff in my immediate environment, you know, just random objects around the room, and I try and get them to move. And I swear to God, sometimes I've seen stuff like wobble a bit, you know, like, and it could just be me. Like, am I convincing myself through sheer will, you know, that like, it's like, am I lying? Am I creating a self-imposed delusion, or am I actually like getting somewhere? I can't remember. Like, sometimes I feel like that about like my art in this stream. You know, I totally relate with Owen sometimes, where I'm like, there's times where I'm like, somebody, you know, orders a commission, or somebody buys one of the t-shirts, or like I have a bit of income, and then I'm like, oh cool, this is working, like, you know, I can pay for this, and I can get the internet, I can get more paint, and like we can keep this going. Oh, it's growing. Oh, more people on YouTube. Yeah. And then there's like a week goes by and I don't make any money or anything like that. Like, but that I think that I'm just describing being like an artist. That's just one of those, like, that's the kind of lifestyle I've chosen, is like, there's got, especially early on, while I make an audience and like gather an audience and make a community and like, you know, fucking gather all this resources and energy and like put it in a positive direction and shit. Like, there's gonna be plenty of times where I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm not making a dent in this, like. But then you get moments and you're just like, this is so worth it. Like when Grifu-sama put the video of him in the truck with Nova and Gina, and he got the painting, and he's like, you know, he has the tube, and he's like, oh, and then like, obviously they went back to the house and he like laid it out and stuff, like sent the picture into the Telegram chat and all, like, and like that I love that. That's what I really like. That's the main reason that I love doing this. What, like, definitely one of the main 5 reasons I love doing this is that feeling that I get when I have done something for someone and they then have it, and they're happy with it, and I'm like, it's like a proper, you know, you've saved the princess from the dragon thing, where it's like, I have accomplished my task, I have painted the goo and it was good. Like, it's profoundly satisfying, like, do you know what I mean? But like I said earlier, like, I get complacent, where I'm like, fucking, I complete a task and like, well, I executed well, you know, and it's satisfying and the customer is satisfied, and part of me just gets an overwhelming want to just relax because it's so stressful most of the time. Oh god. Your water looks great. Oh, thank you very much. I'm telling. I don't even. You're telling who? What? I can't remember. Right, rant over. Let's put some tunes on and paint some niggers on a yacht. I am feeling hippity hoppity. Maybe will we go hippity hoppity? Don't get me wrong, I like Christmas, but like, fuck, hear all the fucking Christmas tunes and all. You captured Grifu-san's rightness quite well. Like the criticism he made of like, I made him like full on grey and not a lick of ginger in there, I thought was hilarious. PEINTEINGU. Yeah. PEINTEINGU. PEINTEINGU. I place my royal rag on my divine knee in preparation for the goo. I descend into proper PEINTEINGU posture, revering
My magically endowed topknotu. Its frothiness repels all demons. It's glorious. Painting goo.
Right, let's get these bitches wet. Which bitch?
Currently my favorite bitch. I did not replace the painting goo bucket water. It is a 30.
No matter.
Painting goo.
Right, a yacht. Yes, methinks yacht here. Yacht here. Wrench idle here. And then we'll throw some funny stuff in the foreground. We always need witnesses to the madness.
Painting goo.
Okay.
Get some whiter! Rode the parrot with the goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo. Painting goo.
Right. A few squirts from my little mister.
We shall do the yacht first too. Me Reich. Groovy. Bassy. Me Reiki. What name shall we give this yacht? Giving a sea-faring vessel a funny name is something I quite like. Dexter Morgan's Ritter boat being called a slice of rife, I thought was hilarious. What could one call a yacht full of niggers? That would be hilariously appropriate. The SS Ritter Mister. Ugh. See this bullshit? This bullshit. Anyone could be Santa. Rise. Firt and rise. Number 1, Santa not real.
So nobody can be Santa because a Santa is a not real. Everybody can be Santa. You lying scum!
Painting goo goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo goo. Goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Goo 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 goo. Goo 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 goo.
Oh, you're going to tear my mammy. Oh, how dare you. Ever wonder why yacht is pronounced that way and not yacht? Like, yeah, why isn't it pronounced yacht? I bought a new yacht there the other day. Like, to me, that's how it looks like it should be pronounced. Y-A-C-H-T. Yacht! Like... It's like the sound you make when you're hocking a loogie, like, you know, yeah. Like, I really like. It's funny. I really like those languages like Arabic and shit, and Irish. The Irish has that where it's like certain things you need that like, like you need that like Habib, you know. It's not Khabib. It's Habib. You know. I love that shit in certain languages where it's like you need that like, you're not pronouncing it correctly. Well, how do I pronounce it correctly? You must swallow this frog and then pronounce the word. Like,
Painting goo goo. Goo 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 goo. Painting goo goo. Goo 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 goo. Goo 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 goo. Goo 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 goo. Painting goo goo. Painting goo goo. Painting goo goo. Niggeryacht. Niggeryacht.
right, we have the basic placement of the yacht. Oh, gross. If everyone is Santa, then no one is. Exactly. No, name the bait. Name the boat, mammy. Well, they're all niggas, so like, should be like mama, mama. I love that. Like Eddie Griffin has some of the best stand-up specials I've ever seen. Like, Mama. when you're young and you lie to your parents. It's fucking. If you've never seen Eddie Griffin stand-up, watch it. It's so fucking good. Like. Ugh. I didn't know Eddie Griffin has a podcast. Like, Eddie Griffin has a fucking podcast where he does like loads of news shit now. Hilarious. Fucking hilarious. Was I talking about that on Friday? Was I? I think I was. Because he was talking about how the Mike Tyson and the Jake Paul fight was total, like... It's like, that was not a fight. That was a show. Tyson hit him one time, sent him the other side of the fucking ring, and everybody looked at Tyson and was like, Tyson, 20 million. 20 million, nigga. Don't you knock that boy out. That's like, I knew I was right. I remember watching it like 2 days after or the day after or something. I watched like, I didn't even watch the whole thing, did I? Or did I watch the highlights? I think I watched the whole thing, I'm not sure. But like the second it started and the way Tyson was moving, I was like, that's not real. Like, he's not throwing. He's not trying. You could tell that, like, if he actually wanted to, he could murder him. Like, really easily. And he just didn't. You know, like... And it's like all these people are like, oh, everybody's saying that it was rigged. Like, they don't know what they're talking about. Oh, the gaslighting is insane. The gaslighting really is insane these days, where you have blatant grifting liars. Like, that's why I respect Owen Benjamin so much. I can only fucking imagine the stress. Like, seriously, the fucking stress of this shit. Like, fucking newspapers lying about you and all, like, fucking cult, fucking military, what's the term? Private, no, not private military, fucking militia and all this shit, like, fucking right wing and all this, like, it's like, I just want to tell nigger jokes. Fuck off. Like, it's so crazy, like, so fucking crazy. I have to put a little bit of grey in here. Well, I don't have to, I want to, you know. So far, the only idea for the boat name, SS Ritter Mister and Mammy. I'm not impressed, guys. Not impressed. Thought there'd be way more hilarious names. Desmondo! Save us! Save us, Desmondo. We need your hilarity. Your hilarity! Name the nigger boat. I order you to name the nigger boat. Do it now. I mean, the Bear Marisha would be cool, but I just like the bike song. Hopefully it never gets to a point where we'd actually need to consider something like that. And it's not even like the realm is in a state of turmoil right now. There's nothing fucking wrong with the realm that I know of. You know, maybe there is. I don't know. Like, it's people. It's society. It's like the whole, like, you know, guns kill people. No, they don't. People kill people. I could kill you with a fucking stapler. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't need a gun. Like, probably take me a while, but I could probably kill you with a roll of toilet roll. Like, like, I give it a good try. Like, I don't need a fucking gun. Give me anything. Like, that's what martial arts is about. I don't need weapons. I am the weapon. Like, you know. SS didn't do. That's funny. Or didn't do nothing. Yeah, the SS didn't do nothing. Would be funny. Or does it have to be SS? Isn't it usually like HMS? I don't know my boat shit. I don't know boat shit. Don't know shit about boats. Don't know boat shit. Educate me.
Paint, goo goo goo, goo goo goo, goo goo goo, goo goo goo.
Far too grey.
I went too grey. Too much brack. Nothing worse than too much brack. Somebody has a painful paintingu! Glorious! Who has honor this fine Monday? What fearty mortar has pronounced his honor? Ah! Mark Stonebarrow! Berated!
Belated, in brackets, berated. I love it.
Berated Thanksgiving Shekers. Thanks for many mornings. Entertainment do. Ah, you are most welcome. You are most welcome, Max Dodborough. Your patronage to Paintingu is a much appreciated. Paint, goo, goo. Painting, goo. This is a Painting Goo radio, brought to you by Defenderu, demigod of Painting Goo, sending you cleansing vibrations over the interwebs. Reminding you, fearty mortars, the meaning of honor, beauty, truth, patience, and paying for painting good. Painting is a rife.
Oh, I think I'm gonna make the yacht purple. I can't believe I didn't think of that already. This yacht needs to be purple. It's a nigger yacht. It's a proper nigger yacht. It's gotta be purple. I mean, I can make this one red and put another one in the backer and make it blue. Do you imagine Bloods and Crips having international water gunfight? Like doing sail-bys instead of drive-bys. Like. Painting goo goo. Painting goo goo. Painting goo goo.
Me definitely thinks that this yacht should be purple. So, I shall leave it to dry. And I shall begin constructing the wrench eider to be worshipped by the Roker Polynesian population. I have a gunk in my eye hole. Ugh. Wrench. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo. I shall now begin praising the Polynesian pineapple throwers. Polynesian pineapple punters? Polynesian pineapple participants? Polynesian pineapplers. Punters, that's the only thing I can think of. You can punt something. Polynesian pineapple punters. Polynesians punting pineapples. It's a bit easier to say. HMS would imply Royal Navy. Ah. The SS Big Ho, because they all get to ride. Jesus. That's hilarious. The SS main bitch, because like they're all in her. Like, oh, what's the fucking? Don't they have it? Don't they have a term for like? Like it's not. It's worse than slow, isn't it? Like the fucking, like one of them is like, oh, the local bike, because everybody's rode her. I thought the blacks had something like that. Trifling hoe? Or is that just like a gossip bitch? I can't remember. Ugh. What was that bitch's name in fucking Don't Be a Menace? What was the bitch's name in Don't Be a Menace? Oh, I can't remember. She had like fucking 10 kids or something, like, and the dude still goes there, like, oh god, imagine, like, fuck that, like, right. What colour, what shade of browner shall the Polynesians be? Methinks
maybe raw umber. Yeah, maybe raw umber. We shall try raw umber. Okay. A few squirts of my tiny mister. Shout out to Griffu-sama. If he had not complained about not having the Wu-Tang Clan on the tune's playlist, I would not have found this hip-hopper playlist, and I quite like it. It's very bassy. The SS bottom bitch. Yeah, we're getting there. Right, we have our tribal members praying to the Reg. I want to reeve this to dry a bit more before I go at it again. Put another layer of white on the wrench, so that when we go to make it gold, it's nice and clear.
Very rudimentary stone shrine. Helping the wrench to remain erect. Put some skurs and some spikes. Wouldn't be Polynesian without some cannibalism. Oh, gross. Never forget to squirt. Squirting very important too. Cannot use that currer. Same currer as sand. Shit. Must go darker. Some burnt sienna. More squirting. Right. We shall press some scores on the spikers. Is this Wee Tang's Christmas album? No lyrics, just beats. Fearsome. some scores. Woo! Bit of a weird sound effect to throw into a song. Fair enough. Rar. Like, it's flattening out over there. Glorious. Painting goo goo. Sounds like Zerda. Never mind. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo. Right, he thinks we can put more details into the tribal warriors. These worshipping warriors. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Shall we turn it up a notch for the last hour?
Ah, Max Stoutbarrow, I hope I did not miss you.
Goodbye. Thank you, Domo, for your attendance of the PEINTEINGU. Your glorious patronage is much appreciated. Until next time, Max Stoutbarrow.
Methinks. Ah, yes, this is the one I found the other day. Ooh. Fuck hip hop.
Are the stories about my wondrous Topnotu being for repairing demons?
Arise! It's so I could do this!
Without the headphones frying off my head! Oh, glorious.
Part of me wants more coffee.
Get that matter into you!
Right, this section is almost dry. I can see it. We shall praise more things, methink. It wouldn't be a watery PEINTEINGU without a big fat shark, methinks.
PEINTEINGU. 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 Goo goo goo.
For those of you who do not know what a shark is, catch up! You must be watching PEINTEINGU to get the joku. What else? Methinks some kind of tentacle kaiju in the background. Or perhaps something just on a raft. We have our lots of space here to work with. Must use it. Methinks Godzilla
Chaku Macha Honoru.
Hey, what's so honourable about the shark? He's fat, he's adorable, and he's dumb as fuck. Glorious. What was I going to do there? I had an idea. What was it? Ah, yes. I need more kaiju in my life. I have an affliction, and the only cure is more kaiju.
Somebody has a paid-for PEINTEINGU! Glorious! Who has honor this day?
The one who stabs.
No, Skylar, I am the one who stabs. If you have any honor, you will be Riker Max Out Beru and pay for PEINTEINGU, indeed. Staburo-sama speaks the truth. Those who do not pay for PEINTEINGU have no honor. Filthy mortar scum. PEINTEINGU. Paint. Paint. Goo 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 goo. Goo 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 goo. Goo 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 goo. Painting goo goo. Goo 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 goo.
What color razor breast from the giant lizard? Methinks red. Painting goo 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 goo.
Something about listening to heavy metal whilst painting something like Godzilla. It's incredibly satisfying. The roar of tree. You have the color the thing is. Then you have the color the thing is when the light hits it. And then you have the color when the color the thing is when the light cannot hit it. Otherwise, shadow. If it's green, you must shade it dark green and highlight it bright green. Very simple and effective. glorious. Anyone not knowing what a mythical charcoal is needs to pay the way.
How funny would that be? Sending people to Owen to pay their gay away for not knowing about my shit. How dare you not know what a fat yellow cheetah like Owen's getting like. That'd be so funny if somebody sent Owen a super chat. Hey, like, I'm paying gay away for not knowing what a shark is. And he's like, what? Like, what the fuck is a shark? Sorry. Oh god.
Painting, go, 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 go. Painting, go, 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 go. Paint, paint. Right. Test my theory here.
Trying not to darken or lighten with white or black. Trying to use yellows and blues and reds, you know, to achieve different shades. So far, so good.
Can you imagine what Owen would be making were he still on the tubes of you? He was doing 30k plus before he got kicked off.
I know, I remember. Like I remember like how like when he did a video or a stream or like some like it blew up. It was all over the place, like, you know. Like his reach is stupid. Even though he's been suppressed and all this fucking hit piece shit has been written about him. And all these fucking lying absolute demons being like, oh, it's a scam and he's a criminal and all this fucking like utter bullshit. Like, he's still got insane reach. Like, that's hilarious to me. You know, it couldn't be more obvious. I don't think it could be. You'd be hard pressed to make it more obvious that Owen is what he says Owen is what he claims to be and what the Bears claim him to be, and his detractors are simply either grifters or like they're on the opposite side of the agenda pool and they're like, you know, they see him as a threat, they're trying to like, they see him as competition or some shit. Like, you know, there's no, like, pretty much from what I could see, there's no legitimate fucking gripe about Owen or the bear community that I've come across that have been like, oh yeah, well, he kind of has a point there. Like, they're all just like, like, they're just fucking like intentionally stupidly wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, like, I can only imagine the stress of that fucking the camera dude and all that bullshit. Like, as if the Jim Bob scenario wasn't enough of a, like, you know, just like, what the fuck was that about? Like, the fucking camera guy bullshit. Jesus Christ, man, I'd be snapping. Like, I'd be fucking snapping. Fucking metal playlists I've picked up lately are fucking sick. This yacht's gonna be purple and gold. Proper pimpin'. It's just so I don't forget the placement of the lettering and shit. I know it looks like trash right now, but SS Bottom Bitch is hilarious. How else are you supposed to attract them mermaid hoes if you ain't got a pimpin' boat? Good fucking question.
I shall return in a moment. I must drain the dragon. Oh. Oosa. Oh, that felt glorious. Chum? Just question mark. Chum? Oh, how do you attract mermaids? Chum. No, those would be sirens. This prairist is rich. It is indeed. Miraiki. Miraiki Arot. Okie dokie. Not quite the purpur I want. Painting. Goo goo. glorious red frame. Oh, glorious.
Is that all? No? Not quite.
Ah! Almanbaru! Welcome! PEINTEINGU, goo 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 goo.
We have made excellent progress today on PEINTEINGU.
Excellent progress.
But I am afraid I must leave it there, my beloved Japanites. That is all the goo I have for you today. I hope you have enjoyed today's PEINTEINGU.
I assuredly did.
Excellent progress. We have our tribal members worshipping a golden wrench. Our resident shark has arrived to bring a river of derp. Unparalleled rivers of derp to the Paintingu. The yacht has been perpified. Perpified, like a perp, like niggas, perpetrators. Hilarious. Right. We shall return to this glorious Paintingu tomorrow. Same timer, same bracer, same high-octane Paintingu energy. Remember to smash that like button, like you have insulted, like it has insulted your ancestors. Fuck that one up. Remember to smash that like button, like you have insulted your ancestors. Yes, glorious. What else? I can't remember. Right. 3 p.m. GMTU. I shall return tomorrow, Tuesday. Be here. If you're not here, if you're not paying for Paintingu, you probably suck asu. And you have a no honor. So. Even heavier metal to end the stream on. Excellent. Right, my glorious and beloved Japanites, and all you other filthy mortals. Be good, be true, and be beautiful, and I shall see you again sooner. Sayonara.